月曜の朝、トム・ソーヤーは学校を抜け出すためにあの手この手を使いますが、結局は面白い方法で注目の的に。彼のカリスマ性と機転が教室を笑いと驚きでいっぱいにする一方、新しい女の子への純粋な愛を告白する大胆な一面も。トムの学校生活には退屈なし、彼のいたずら心とロマンティックな冒険が待ち受けています。
Monday morning was always a tough start for Tom Sawyer, marking the beginning of another week he'd rather spend anywhere but school. Each Monday, he found himself wishing there hadn't been a weekend at all, as returning to school felt even more dreadful. Lying in bed, Tom pondered how he might avoid school. He toyed with the idea of being sick. That would surely keep him at home. After a thorough self-examination, he found no real sickness, but he tried to convince himself he had stomach pains. These pains quickly subsided, leaving him searching for another excuse. Then, Tom found a loose front tooth. He thought about complaining of toothache, but he realized his Aunt Polly might just pull the tooth out, which deterred him. He decided to keep the loose tooth as a backup plan. Still searching for a believable illness, Tom recalled a doctor's story about a severe infection that could incapacitate someone for weeks and even risk a finger. Seizing the opportunity, he checked his slightly sore toe and considered exaggerating its condition. Unsure of the exact symptoms needed but desperate to avoid school, Tom started groaning loudly, hoping to make his ailment seem serious enough to stay home. Sid kept sleeping, while Tom was making loud noises of pain. Tom, getting more upset, took a short break to breathe. Then he started making even louder noises, trying to sound like he was in a lot of pain. But Sid still didn't wake up. Feeling annoyed, Tom shook Sid while calling his name loudly. This finally woke Sid up. He yawned, stretched, and then looked at Tom with a worried face. "Tom! Say, Tom!" Sid tried to talk to him. "Here, Tom! Tom! What is wrong, Tom?" He shook Tom a little and looked closely at his face, trying to find out what was wrong. Tom made a sound of pain. "Oh, don't, Sid! Don't shake me! What's wrong, Tom? I need to call Auntie." "No, don't worry. It will stop soon, maybe. Don't call anyone. But I have to. Don't make those sounds, Tom. It's terrible. How long have you felt this way?" "Hours. Ouch. Oh, don't move like that, Sid, it hurts." "Tom, why didn't you wake me up sooner?" "Oh, Tom, stop. It's scary to hear you." "What's wrong?" "I forgive you, Sid, for everything. Everything you've done to me. When I'm gone, I'd cat to the new girl in town and tell her Sash and my one. Oh, Tom, you're not dying, are you? Please don't say that. I forgive everyone, Sid. Tell them that, Sid. And give my window." But Sid had quickly grabbed his clothes and rushed off. Now, Tom's acting was so convincing that he started to believe it himself, and his groans sounded very real. Sid ran downstairs and shouted, "Oh, Aunt Polly, come quick! Tom's dying! Dying! Yes'm. Hurry, please! Nonsense! I don't believe it!" Despite her words, Aunt Polly hurried upstairs, with Sid and Mary following her. She was clearly worried. Her face turned pale, and her lip trembled. When she got to Tom's bedside, she gasped, "You, Tom! What's the matter with you?" "Oh, Auntie, What's wrong, child?" "Oh, Auntie, my toe is very bad." "What's wrong with you?" Aunt Polly sat down suddenly, laughing a bit, then crying, and finally doing both at the same time. This seemed to help her recover, and she told Tom, "Tom, you really scared me. Now stop this nonsense and get up." Tom's groans stopped, and the pain in his toe magically disappeared. Feeling a bit silly, he explained to his aunt. Aunt Polly, my toe seemed so bad, and it hurt so much I forgot all about my toothache. Your tooth, indeed. What's wrong with your tooth? One of them is loose, and it hurts a lot. There, now, don't start groaning again. Open your mouth. Well, your tooth is loose, but you're not going to die because of that. Mary, give me a silk thread and a piece of coal from the kitchen. Tom pleaded. Oh, please, Auntie, don't pull it out. It doesn't hurt anymore. I promise I won't move if it does. Please don't, Auntie. I don't want to stay home from school. Oh, you don't, do you? So this was all because you thought you could stay home from school and go fishing? Tom, I love you so much, but you seem to try every way you can to break my old heart with your mischief. By this time, the dental instruments were ready. Aunt Polly tied one end of the silk thread around Tom's loose tooth and the other end to the bedpost. Then she grabbed the hot coal and brought it close to Tom's face. The tooth was now dangling from the bedpost. After breakfast, as Tom headed to school, he found that his new gap from the missing tooth had an unexpected perk. It allowed him to spit in a unique and impressive way. This quickly made him the center of attention among the boys, who were fascinated by his new skill. One boy, who had been the center of attention for having a bandage-cut finger, suddenly found himself overshadowed by Tom's new ability. He tried to dismiss Tom's skill with disdain, claiming it was no big deal, but another boy called out, "Sour grapes!" and he walked away, feeling defeated and no longer the center of attention. Soon, Tom encountered Huckleberry Finn, the village outcast and the son of the town drunkard. Huck was disliked by all the mothers in town because he was seen as idle, lawless, and unruly, qualities that ironically made him admired and envied by their children. Despite being forbidden to associate with him, Tom, like most of the other boys, was drawn to Huck and seized every opportunity to join him in his adventures. Huckleberry was known for his ragged appearance, often wearing oversized, tattered clothes discarded by adults. His hat was notably worn out, and his coat was so long that it almost touched the ground, with its buttons oddly placed far down the back. He wore only one suspender to hold up his baggy trousers, which were frayed and dirty. Huck lived a life of freedom that was the envy of every free and unrestrained by society's rules-behaved child. He had no obligations to attend school or church, didn't have to answer to anyone, and spent his days doing as he pleased, whether it was fishing, swimming, or staying out late. He was the epitome of a carefree existence, never having to worry about cleanliness or proper behavior. To the other boys, Huck represented everything they wished they could be. Tom greeted the well-known village outcast with enthusiasm. "Hello, Huckleberry. Hello yourself, and see how you like it. What's that you've got?" "Dead cat." "Let me see him, Huck. Wow, he's really stiff. Where did you get him?" "Bought it from a boy." "What did you give him?" "I gave a blue ticket and a bladder that I got at the slaughterhouse." "Where did you get the blue ticket?" "Bought it from Ben Rogers 2 weeks ago for a hoop stick." "Say, what are dead cats good for, Huck?" "Good for? They cure warts." "No." "Really? I know something that's better." "I bet you don't." "What is it?" "Why, spunk water. You wouldn't, would you? Have you ever tried it?" "No, I haven't." "But Bob Tanner did." "Who told you that?" "Water. I wouldn't care at all for spunk water." "Spunk." "Well, he told Jeff Thatcher, and Jeff told Johnny Baker, and Johnny told Jim Hollis, and Jim told Ben Rogers, and Ben told a guy, and that guy told me." "There now!" "Well, what of it?" They all lie. Well, except for that guy. I don't know him, but I've never met a guy who didn't lie. Shucks. Now you tell me how Bob Tanner did it, Huck. Why, he just dipped his hand in a rotten stump where there was rainwater. In the daytime? Of course. Facing the stump? Yes. I think so. Did he say anything? I don't think he did. I don't know. Uh-huh. Trying to cure warts with spunk water. Swallow these warts, water, spunk meal shorts, spunk corn in juncorn, barley water that way is silly. It won't work. You have to go alone to the middle of the woods to a special stump. At midnight, you push your hand into the stump and say, barley. Then quickly walk away 11 steps with your eyes closed, spin around 3 times, and walk home without talking to anyone. If you talk, the magic won't work. Well, that sounds good, but Bob Tanner didn't do it that way. No, he didn't, because he still has lots of warts. He wouldn't have any if he knew how to do it right. I've taken off many warts from my hands using that method, Huck. I play with frogs a lot, so I always have many warts. Sometimes I use a bean to remove them. Yes, beans work well. I've tried that too. Have you? How do you do it? You cut a bean in half, make the wart bleed a little, and put the blood on one half of the bean. Then you dig a hole and bury it at midnight where roads cross when there's no moon, and you burn the other half of the bean. The buried bean half keeps pulling, trying to join the other half. This helps pull the wart out, and soon it goes away. Tom and Huck were talking about different ways to remove warts. Tom mentioned a special method using a bean, and then asked Huck how he uses dead cats for the same problem. Huck explained his method. You take your cat to the graveyard around midnight, right when a bad person has been buried. At midnight, devils come, but you can't see them, only hear something like the wind. Then, as they take the dead person, you throw your cat and say, devil follow corpse, cat follow devil, warts follow cat. I'm done with you. That gets rid of warts. Tom asked. Did you ever try it, Huck? Huck replied, no, but old Mother Hopkins told me. Tom questioned, well, I reckon it's true then. They say she's a witch. Huck agreed. Yes, Tom, I know she is. She witched my dad. He said she was witching him, so he threw a rock at her. That night, he fell off a shed and broke his arm. Tom asked, how did he know she was witching him? Huck answered, Dad can tell. He says when they keep looking at you and mumble, they're witching you. Tom then said, when are you going to try the cat? Huck planned, tonight. They'll come for old Hoss Williams tonight. Tom was confused. But they'd buried him Saturday. Didn't they get him Saturday night? Huck explained. How could their charms work until midnight? And then it's Sunday. Devils don't move much on a Sunday. Tom was interested. I never thought of that. Can I go with you? Huck welcomed him. Of course, if you aren't scared. Tom laughed. Scared? It's not likely. Will you meow? Huck remembered. Yes, and you meow back if you get a chance. Last time, you kept me meowing until old Hayes started throwing rocks at me. Tom promised. I won't tell. I couldn't meow that night because my aunt was watching, but I'll meow this time. Their conversation shifted to Huck's recent find. Tom asked, What's that? Huck replied, Just a tick. Tom was curious. Where'd you get him? Huck said, Out in the woods. Tom wanted it. What'll you take for him? Huck wasn't sure. I don't know. I don't want to sell him. Tom noticed. It's a mighty small tick anyway. Huck defended. It's a good enough tick for me. Tom tried to trade. I'll give you my tooth for him. Huck was interested. Let's see it. Tom showed him, and Huck agreed. It's a trade. After trading, Tom headed to school feeling adventurous and ready to tackle the day. Thomas Sawyer. Tom knew that when his full name was called, he was in trouble. Sir, come up here. Now, sir, why are you late again? Tom was about to tell a lie when he saw a girl with long yellow hair. There was an empty seat next to her. He quickly said, I stopped to talk with Huckleberry Finn. The teacher was shocked and stopped everything. The classroom went quiet. The teacher asked, You did what? Stopped to talk with Huckleberry Finn. Everyone heard him clearly. Thomas Sawyer, this is the most surprising thing I have ever heard. A simple punishment won't be enough. Take off your jacket. The teacher used the switch until he was tired. Then he told Tom, Now go and sit with the girls. And remember this as a warning. The class giggled, but Tom was more excited about sitting near the girl he liked. He sat at the end of the bench, and the girl moved away a bit. People in the class whispered and nudged each other, but Tom pretended to read his book. After a while, the class noise came back. Tom started looking at the girl secretly. She noticed and turned away. Then she saw a peach in front of her. She pushed it away. Tom put it back quietly. She pushed it away again, less strongly. Tom put it back again. Finally, she left it there. Tom wrote on his slate, Please take it, I got more. The girl saw it but didn't react. Tom started drawing on his slate, covering it with his hand. The girl tried not to look interested, but she was curious. Finally, she whispered quietly, Let me see it. Let me see it. Tom showed her a funny drawing of a house with two peaks and smoke twisting out of the chimney like a corkscrew. The girl became very interested in the drawing and forgot about everything else. When Tom finished, she looked at it and then whispered, It's nice. Looking man and whispered, Make a man. Tom drew a tall man in the front yard of the house, so big that he looked like he could step over the house. The girl wasn't too picky. She liked the large funny. It's a beautiful man. I wish I could draw like limbs under a full moon. The girl admired it and said, It's very nice now, draw me coming along. Tom then drew a figure of a girl with a large fan and straw. It's easy, whispered Tom. I can teach you. Really? When? At lunchtime. Do you go home for lunch? I'll stay if you stay. Great, that's settled. What's your name? Becky Thatcher. What's yours? Oh, I know. It's Thomas Sawyer. That's what they call me when I'm in trouble. I'm Tom when I'm good. Can you call me Tom? Yes. Now Tom started to write something secret on the slate, covering it so Becky couldn't see. But this time, Becky was curious and insisted. Let me see it. Tom played it cool. Oh, it's nothing. Yes, it is. No, it's not. You don't want to see. Yes, I do. Please show me. You'll tell someone. No, I won't. I promise I won't tell anyone. Are you sure you won't tell anyone ever? No, I won't tell anyone. Let me see. You really don't want to see. Now you're just teasing. I have to see. She put her hand on his, and they playfully struggled a little. Tom pretended to resist, but slowly let her see what he wrote. Underscore I love you underscore dot. Oh, you bad thing. Becky said playfully, and she tapped his hand lightly, but she looked happy and a little embarrassed. Just then, Tom felt a strong grip on his ear lifting him up. The teacher carried him across the room and put him back in his own seat, while all the other students giggled. The teacher stood over him for a moment in silence, then walked back to his desk. Tom's ear hurt, but he was still feeling happy inside. As the classroom noise died down, Tom tried to focus on his studies, but he was too excited to concentrate. He messed up in the reading class, confusing words. In geography, he got all mixed up about lakes, mountains, and rivers, and in spelling, he missed even the simplest words. Finally, he ended up at the bottom of the class and had to give back the medal he had been showing off for months.